since we were talking about Dave Rubin, let's just talk about this for a moment. And I had been alluding to Dave Rubin's support from essentially the Koch brothers, and I'm going to walk you through this in a second. But Alex Koch apparently does some work with TYT. I met this guy the other night, actually, but he tweeted out something that somebody sent to me. He works at TYT, investigates and reads sludge, I guess. And
he's really good. Yep.
And he found a video that somehow we had missed, and he had posted it, and it's from September of 2016. Now it's all audio, but I'm going to read the titles to you so that you will know what it says. And because, one of the things, and I don't know if this was prominently featured in the, I can't remember now, to be honest with you, in the Barry Weiss piece. Did it mention his funding?
No.
He is presented as being fully fan funded. And, we don't even present it as fully fan funding. I just, I say 90 some odd % of our funding comes from the viewers, but whatnot. But we certainly, to the extent that we're not fully fan funded, it is all, ads on YouTube or ads that we have on the show. We have no sponsors. We have no big money behind us, institutional money. And I don't know that there's necessarily a problem with it. It's not necessarily something that I would want per se. But when you're getting ideological money from behind, supporting you, it's very hard to make the argument that you're not ideological. And even if, let's say, I don't know, George Soros was to be funding me, I think not only would I disclose that, but the argument is saying I'm just throwing around ideas. I'm going where the intellectualism takes me. And if that takes me to, finding that George Soros is the evil mastermind of the Illuminati, then so be it. I'm not going to go there because George Soros is paying me, right? Here's a video that was released. It was released in September of 2016. I don't know when their relationship started, but here it is. Meet Dave Rubin, host of The Rubin Report. He believes in free speech and exploring big ideas. He engages people with diverse viewpoints. Adam Carolla, Ayan Hirsi, Ali, Sam Harris, Don Lemon. That's why we're partnering with him to bring you interviews about freedom and other issues like censorship, free speech, pause it, climate change, trans issues, Black Lives Matter, capitalism, libertarianism, immigration, Ayn Rand, Bernie Sanders, feminism, war on drugs, religion, free will. From the professors and intellectuals, from the best professors and intellectuals we know. The Rubin Report. Learn Liberty. And then we whip up a project of IHS. IHS. I wonder what that could be. Learn
maybe
Liberty.
It's a group of patrons who teamed up together. Maybe
it could be. It could be
community
some fan
group.
Yeah,
like a fan group, like a fan
supergroup. From the professors and intellectuals we know best. So, in other words, we are helping to book Dave Rubin's show. Us here at the IHS. Well, Learn Liberty is a project of the Institute for Humane Studies, IHS. Each year, IHS runs educational talent development programs for students, including free, week-long summer seminars that feature some of the faculty on Learn Liberty. We got to go to that. Brendan, pack your bags. IHS also awards scholarships hosts webinars, and provides other... Wow, this is a great organization. They must have a lot of money. Through these programs, IHS promotes the study of liberty across a broad range of disciplines. Well, let's see. Go to IHS, and the Institute Board of Directors includes Charles G. Koch, Brian Hooks, Tyler Cohen, Art Pope, of all people, from North Carolina.
Very interested in big ideas.
Big ideas. David Humphreys, Scott Bewley, Christopher Coyne, Todd Zawicki, Kristen Kendall, Ryan Stowers, Chris Roofer. They've received funding from a number of foundations, including the Sarah Scaife Foundation, as in Mellon Scaife. Those folks brought you the Clinton Whitewater scandal.
Oh, I thought they were the folks behind the Big Think series.
John Templeton Foundation, the Marcus Foundation, the John William Pope Foundation. I believe that might be one of our Pope's relatives. It goes on. The Koch family foundations, of course, the Searle Freedom Trust. You can look all of these up, folks. And Koch is the IHS's chief financial officer told the New York Times in 2012. This is in light of a legal dispute between Charles Koch and the Cato Institute, that Koch is a longtime generous supporter of ours. We're not involved as a political organization. Charles Koch donated total $12.4 million to the organization from 2008 to 2012. That's quite a bit of money. John William Pope Foundation donated $2.1 since 1986. Rand Paul has, of course, sent a fundraising letter, Sinky Gifts. Now, the other funny part about this is that this is housed at George Mason University. And you will recall about a couple of weeks ago, there was a story about how the Koch brothers had, during this time in particular, had an incredible amount, not even an incredible amount, the entire amount of ability to hire and fire professors, which, of course, is a slight infringement upon academic liberty. What Charles Koch and other donors to George Mason University got for their money. Now, the only reason why I say this is because you have Dave Rubin saying that he is a classical liberal. Now, you can laugh at that because it's funny. But I wonder what makes him a classical liberal as opposed to a libertarian. Has he ever talked about this? I know at one point he was for single-payer health care, but he seems to have dropped that from his justification. Has he ever talked?
Classical liberals are fairly libertarian, as I understand it.
Well, I wonder what the difference is. I mean, I think he would agree that we're fairly liberal, but I don't like. I wonder what the difference is.
I mean, they believe in free markets and stuff.
He's getting. And I don't know how much money it is from them, but they sound like they claim that we are booking their guests.
I would say one difference is he probably is more valuable to people like that, calling himself a classical liberal than a libertarian.
Right, because it sounds like it's something other than being a libertarian.
Yeah, it's branding.
It's branding, and so
And
it's also sort of seems to me to be. Somewhat a failure of a reporter to report this in a piece. I mean, if you want to talk about someone being marginalized, I mean, I suppose you could say like the Koch brothers are also marginalized. It's very difficult for them to go and hang out with liberal people because they're so demonized.
You know, I think they actually perceive it that way. If you dip into the sense of aggrievement goes up that high, where multi-billionaires who control American politics actually do think that they're marginalized because they don't get, because Jane Mayer investigates them.
Right.
I think that's a real thing.
I mean, I think that's probably true.
Yeah, and people are allowed to write mean things about them online now.
And whereas, there was a time where, if you were in a debate with Ta-Nehisi Coates about whether or not people of his race were inherently inferior in terms of intellects. I'm just saying in terms of intellect.
Yeah, could be anything.
That he would be polite about it. But now it seems like folks like that are being, very.
I thought
when up up in front in your face about it. Up at the
shorten it,
like
uppishness
about it. There's an uppishness.
Upward.
Yeah, but
I remember a couple years ago when
Upworthy.
when Ta-Nehisi Coates told Andrew Sullivan that he wasn't particularly interested in relitigating a debate about his basic humanity. I just was like, oh my God, how arrogant can you be?
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if Ta-Nehisi Coates didn't shut up and pushed Andrew Sullivan might have became a racist.
Right. Right. That's the really, really fine line.
Yeah.
Because if you explore it too deeply, then Andrew Sullivan will have no choice but to say publicly what he said to people who worked for him privately several years ago, which is, if everybody was equal, why didn't Africa take over the world?
Right.
And it's that type of cutting-edge Oxford Union debate insight that you can't say publicly, but really shapes the heart of the intellectual dark web.
Here is the thing that people have to remember, and I want you to just understand this as you go out there, folks. These not quite racist people are teetering on a razor's edge.
That's right. Not quite.
When you speak to them, be gentle. Don't use a lot of breath in your voice, because if you do, you could just blow them over the other side of that razor's edge.
Yeah, I know. I've been all wrong.
Down to, and then they slide down into racist world.
I've been all wrong about Sam Harris.
Don't do that.
I've been all wrong
we'll get a
about
strike.
I know. I got to say, to Sam Harris, I'm sorry. I realize now that the fact that you said you're open to universal basic income obviously means that you can't be racist.
Your
By
harassment of Harris
yes.
could have made him bring Charles Murray on. In fact, that's what he said.
That's literally
right?
why. I think that is, I think their harassment of Charles Murray at Middlebury. So sorry. I will not put him in context
That'd be
anymore.
hilarious if a new word called harassing, where you're going after somebody for good reason because they're...
Yeah, and then you realize that it's then they're the victims.
Yeah.
Okay, new. It's really it is almost like these, or it is Donald Trump intellectualism.
We got to take a break and head into the fun half. Just a reminder, it is your support, plus that of IHS, that make the show possible every day. IHS, spreading freedom and liberty everywhere in the guise of we're just throwing around some ideas. There's no millions of dollars behind these ideas. They're just... The reason why we have this funding to make this set is just a function of some people out there really wanting just generally ideas to be out there.
Any day now, we'll get our ideas subsidized too.
Oh, yes. Well, it's very possible.
Anybody like to fund some false, defamatory, and totally unfair ideas? Because available. I'm interested in shutting down debates in open exchange, and if you'd like to support me in that.
That's right. That's the ideas that we have.
The war against open exchange.
I think the Koch brothers should step up. Yeah. If they want a real debate, they should fund both of us.
That's what it is.
Right?
I don't understand. Yeah.
If you want a real debate, fund our show too.
Yeah.
That way we can actually buy enough followers. I'm not saying anybody did that. I'm not saying anybody did that.
But one could if one got a generous
I'm not saying
investment.
Anybody, promoted certain videos based upon purchasing. I'm not saying anybody did that. I'm saying that we could, and then we would have enough of a follower that they would want, someone like Dave would want to debate us.
Well, we should call up one of those millionaire cultural Marxists out there.
No, that'd be funny.
Actual Marxists.
Dave,
all those wealthy...
Why aren't you debating? You're looking like a goddamn pussy. We
don't fund this kind of money to make
We just wrote a check to the majority report for $12 million.
And you know what?
Wait till you see the merch they're going to have now, you son of a bitch.
Michael Brooks going to have a whole goddamn Malbrack drop for TMBS. Now, you better stop being a friggin' cowardly pussy and get out there and debate. I know you're intellectually limited, but that's not the goddamn point.
They're going to be carrying around those little red books all over the set now. We're going to build the entire set out, little red books.
Now, you get out there on the field, you son of a bitch.